Here in studio, beautiful afternoon. Look, you know that I always look so forward to the weekend. And this weekend, I have almost nothing. Almost nothing. My pastor called me and said, hey, we are practicing for the play. I said, what play? Oh, my wife didn't call you? I said, no. And now who is we? So they're doing some kind of skit on Sunday, and I suppose I'm going to be a part of it. So that's part of my weekend. Other than that, I am free to watch Murder, She Wrote and reruns of Wheel of Fortune on Saturday. So that's just what I do. But thank you so much for joining me. I am not in studio alone. I do have guests in studio, and we're going to go to music, and we'll be right back, and we'll talk to the guest that we have in studio. Listen, here comes Willie Neal Johnson and the gospel keynote saying, won't it be wonderful? That's it. I didn't know she would videotape me. That's right. Me, Mr. Tracy and Mrs. Alexis Williams, right here in studio, and they've been here before, so they're not strangers. How are you all doing?
I'm blessed.
That's good.
My wife kind of acting shy, but
I'm about to say she
so
pushed the
glad to be
microphone
here.
away. You're not. So she's going to be the videographer. So you're doing good. You say you're a blessing to me. That's better than good.
Yeah, that's better than good.
So how are things going with you, sir?
I'll just always busy, but you know, busyness sometimes can be a good thing, and sometimes be a bad thing. But busy with work, busy working on a PhD, but also more importantly, you know, and I wouldn't call this busy, is always willing and glad to be doing the Lord's work.
Yeah. Working on a PhD. When you were here before, I remember your story. Can we talk about your journey?
I always, you know, always ready to give an answer, you know. And, you know, my story is just kind of, it's a reclamation project, you know, a story of redemption. From growing up here in Tyler, Texas, went to all the local schools, T.J. Austin, Ramey, you know, in the neighborhood, Ramey, T.J. Austin, Hogg Middle School, Bolter, and I graduated from Robert E. Lee.
Okay.
In 1994, and you know, growing up, I grew up going to Smith Temple Church of God in Christ as a young man, and you know, I'm so thankful for my mother, Brenda Lewis, and my grandmother, Lula Bell Williams, and my aunts as well, Aunt Carolyn, Aunt Janice, Aunt Dolores. And so
I want to stop you. He said Aunt Carolyn, Aunt Janice, and I know I'm from Overton, and I used to say Aunt Louisa. I used to say it, but then I got sophisticated somewhere along the line, and he said, I thought I got, and I started saying Aunt Louisa.
I guess that's the country that's coming out of me, because you know, we come from Blackjack and White House.
Oh, yeah, I know Blackjack. Yeah,
that's where they're originally
my
from.
country is really still there. You know, I disguise it.
Right.
Yeah.
So they raised us, you know, with always our foundation in Christ, hard work, education, and family was our pillars. But me growing up, not having an identity, and not knowing that my identity was not in a father or a father figure. Of course, I had some uncles there, Uncle Al, Uncle Billy, Uncle LJ. But, you know.
Is that what you mean by not having identity?
Right. I didn't know who I was, as I didn't know who my father was.
Okay.
It was just always like the best kept secret.
Oh.
And my mother thought she was protecting me by not allowing me to know who my father was.
Okay.
And so I dealt with that as a young man, didn't have identity, didn't know which way I was going. And I remember I was headed for the Air Force Academy. I thought that was a good way to pay for college.
Yeah.
I was a smart young man, but I just didn't have no one just really to speak off into my life.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of that today where we don't have individuals who have been there, experienced things to be able to speak off into young people's life. So that's where I was, 94, 95. And from there, not having that, I was headed to the Air Force Academy. I was going to be an officer candidate school. And along the way, I made a bad choice. And that bad choice caused me to stand in front of a judge.
But allow me to interject if I can. From the point that you started up to this point, everything seemed good. Although you said you didn't know your identity, but everything seemed good. At what point did you make the bad choice? What led you to that?
I think it was always seeds there that I was crying out for attention.
Oh, yeah.
I was periodically had good grades, but I was crying out. I would mess up, and my mother and my aunts would always be there to always try to bring me back to the center and try to keep me balanced. But I would mess up and I would do something, and it was just like I was crying out. I just didn't know who I was. I didn't have no direction. I needed some type of direction. And so it was just like my mother was working 2 jobs. She had been divorced, and my grandma was older, and people were living life. And so not having anyone there, I had an older brother, I had a younger brother. My younger brother always looked up to me, and I was just kind of just out there on my own.
Okay.
And that's not saying anything. My mother and my grandma, my aunts, they raised me the right way.
Sure.
But I didn't have the man there to teach me how to be a man. There was only so much they could do, and they did a very good job.
Yeah.
They gave me the ABCs, but I needed a man there to kind of point me, just put some encouragement in my life, to point me in the right direction. And so when I got in high school, I started being, so to speak, like my father. I had found out who he was, and I had started just, chasing women.
Yeah.
And from there, what I needed was that relationship with Christ. And so once I graduated and I decided not to go to the Air Force, I needed, once I got to sociology, is what they say, I went through the physical, got to the sociology part. They told me that I needed to wait because I had some tickets or something on my record. So in that meantime, I did not go. I had lost my job, and I ended up making a bad choice of robbing a place. And I thank God that I didn't physically harm anyone in the commission of that crime. It was the first time I really had been in trouble, with the law. And I realized now as I've gotten older that trauma is so much deeper than, something physical harm, And I remember standing in front of that judge, and my mother was there, my little brother was there, and it was teen court, or it was some kind of criminal justice class that came through. And my mother was there, and they told me to rise. And the judge told the class that was coming in, what was going on, the proceedings. They were finna get ready to sentence me. And she said, I remember it always, I'll never forget this. She said, there's only 3 things that can happen to Mr. Williams. He's a bad actor. We got places for them. And this is in the 90s, when they were throwing people away and lock the key.
Yeah.
And she said, there's only 3 things that can happen to him. He'll be so old, you'll never have to worry about it when he does get the opportunity to get out. She said he'll die in prison of AIDS, or she said the gangs will get him. And, I'm 19 years old.
She had no positive outlook.
No positive outlook for my life.
Yeah, even though that's supposed to be a place of rehabilitation.
No positive outlook.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm just numb because now that I look back on it, if I would have thought about my mother, who was going to be doing that time with me, maybe I wouldn't have made that bad choice.
And what age were you?
I was 19, 20 years old.
Okay.
And she sentenced me to 50 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
Wow.
So she had really, literally, well, actually, I had made the choice, but her sentence had literally was saying that my life had no value, and I didn't think about my mother, who was going to be those sleepless nights,
right,
or when we have holidays like we're having Thanksgiving or Christmas, that there was going to be an empty seat at the table. I didn't know how it was going to affect my little brother and my older brother and the rest of my family.
So not only were you sentenced, they were as well.
They were sentenced as well.
So this was aggravated robbery?
Yes,
okay.
yes. And once I was released 5 years ago, it was just like I had seen how it really did affect my family.
So how long did you serve?
25 and a half years in prison.
Wow. Wow.
But here's the thing, but God.
Yeah.
But God.
Yeah.
But God. That was the thing, exclamation point, but God.
Exclamation point, yeah.
Because what, the enemy would have took to destroy my life, to end my life, God turned it around.
Yeah, but the evil, what the devil meant for bad, God meant it for good.
God meant it for good. Just like Joseph, it was a detour. That detour shaped and helped me become the man I am today.
Were you able to help anybody while you were incarcerated? Minister to anybody, encourage?
So I'm so glad you asked. When I was inside of prison, I had the opportunity, like I said, to find myself, my identity, to reconnect, to finally have that relationship one-on-one with Christ, to know who he was personally. And from there, remember the other intangibles was education, family, hard work. I realized that education, I needed to put that on top of it.
Okay.
And I began to, of course, got an associate's degree. But I got the opportunity to go through a program that was something that was the new of its kind. And I was able to get a bachelor's degree from seminary, Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. And in that program, I was in that inaugural cohort. It was a program that was the lieutenant governor that we currently have, and now he's a mayor, Mayor Whitmire. They worked together to get this program started, and it was funded by not state money, but a foundation, the Heart of Texas Foundation.
So you got your bachelor's while incarcerated?
While incarcerated. And you asked, and a part of the program was getting that education and then going out and serving other people in prison. And so that's what I did. I was able to get that bachelor's, to be a part of that inaugural program in 2015, and able to go to the largest prison unit of Cofield and served in the capacity, what they call a field minister. And I was able to preach. I was able to talk people, a lot of people were suicide or self-harm. And I was able to talk. I had access to go anywhere on the unit to be able to go to people in segregation 23 hours a day there and say, or people that were contemplating suicide, or if they had lost a loved one. I was able to just be able to access to minister. And also that's where I found the love of writing, and also had the time to do stage plays and so many things.
Is that where Paul found his love for writing? When he was incarcerated?
I don't know. He wrote he wrote a number of his books from jail. His prison epistles from jail.
Absolutely. Now, I'm about to ask you a question that you might find difficult or strange. So do you now, as you look back, see the purpose for your incarceration? Although you didn't understand it at the time?
I do. And I'll take you to the night when I did get locked up. My grandmother, God rest her soul, and my Aunt Dolores, she taught at Hubbard and Stewart for so many years, Dolores Sanders. They were in the kitchen, and I remember I came into the house, And my grandma said to me, it was a Saturday night. She said, Tracy, you were up to something. She said, there's a storm coming. You better run.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She said, get you some clothes and go to church with me. You're up to something.
Okay.
She said the devil is at your knocking at your front door.
Yeah.
And I was just like, because my grandma, she never missed a tackle. She always knew when I was, it kind of alarmed me.
Yeah.
And I always play that back in my
I'm glad
head.
you haven't forgotten that.
Oh, no. I remember, my aunties, my mom, my grandma, they were spirit-filled women. And I remember some of the lessons and some of the things, And so I remember when my grandma said that. And, just to answer your question, so now thinking back on it, I think about all the different little seeds in my life and how it wasn't God's overall purpose, I don't think, but He allowed it for the development of my own good. And I just think,
well, probably not just for your good.
Yes.
For others that you were able to mentor.
Yes, sir. For others.
Yeah. So that's good. That's good. And I ask you those questions because I wanted to feel your journey coming up to the sins of the father. And you said while you were incarcerated, that's when you started writing. Were the sins of the father being born then when you started writing?
I think so. Because, something about in writers probably would know is, writing is a part, it's kind of like a catharsis. It's just like I'm able to put a little part of my story and a part of people I know, and I'm able to bring hope in that writing, and people can see, in the reflection of the story themselves. And that's what, the sins of my father was birthed in there.
So it just started out journaling then, right?
Oh, well, yes. I journaled for 25 and a half years.
Okay.
And once I got out, I stopped. So I have all those journals.
Yeah.
And sometimes I haven't had the time to just really look back, but journaled everything every day for 25 and a half years.
Yeah.
Whatever was going on, whatever God was showing me or whatever. But I have so many stories that I've written and written down.
Very good.
And, that was, what I love to do.
Yeah. Now that we know who you are, Mr. Williams, and your journey, because you did a stage play some months back. What month was that you did the stage play here in Tyler? It
was at the Caldwell Auditorium, Saturday, August 16th. We did the stage play, Sins of My Father.
Sins of My Father. And it was born from your journaling and from life experiences.
Yeah, yes, sir. And the vehicle, of course, of the stage play was when I was in prison. I met a friend who is a pretty good comedian. He's a comedian, a Christian comedian that's opened up for a lot of comedians. And he had been through a fraternity at TSU.
Okay.
And so I used the vehicle of a fraternity as to drive the story.
Yeah.
But the characters or, people I had seen or people's stories or journeys.
Yeah.
And it dealt with the issue of identity as well as these young men and young ladies trying to find purpose and how their fathers rightfully or wrongfully has influenced them growing up, just like it had me.
Yeah. You said while you was doing your journey, your younger brother kind of looked up to you. When you were incarcerated, did he follow your footsteps, or what happened to him?
No, he didn't, and I'm so thankful that my younger brother didn't.
Yeah.
But my younger brother's Terrence is 3 years younger than me.
Okay.
And so he always just kind of looked up to me. I was always kind of, my big brother does this, and I still see it today.
Good.
And no, I'm thankful that he never got in trouble. And none of my family, none of my first cousins, my brothers. And, why is that? When you think about it, because we all had that same foundation, we You know, like I said, the foundation in Christ, we were raised the right way for education. But I felt like, you know, me dealing with, I'm the only one that didn't know who, you know, my father was.
Yeah.
And until I got, you know, as a senior, I found out.
Yeah. And it kind of tilted you in a different direction.
Right.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and go to music, then we'll go to a break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the stage play, the success of it, and how it affected some of those who was there to witness it, and then how that stage play spiraled into a book. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we'll do that. Here comes the Chicago Mass Choir. Father, and Tracy has taken us down his life journey so far. So all that you were telling us, Mr. Williams, spiraled into a stage play. Where did that come from?
So the stage play was actually done twice in prison. It started out as a prison play.
Okay.
And I'll never forget the first play that I actually wrote, and I performed in prison, the Memorial Unit, Darrington Unit. The chaplain at the time, she reminded me of one of my aunties. She said, the play was good, but why did you do a play where everybody was in prison? And that was a good point. And Chaplain Knapp was her name, Charlotte Knapp.
Yeah.
And it sparked in me, I said, I'll never, ever again write a prison play.
Yeah.
And Sins of My Father came right after that.
How did you get the permission to actually do the play in prison?
I worked up under the chaplain, so I had the favor of the chaplain, and the administration allowed us to do the play. And so from there, that was when everything was born, where people started calling me TP3, you know, and from there I did Sins of My Father and many more plays that follow this play that are tied to this play, actually. And then once I graduated from the seminary in 2015, I went to the Cofield unit, and we did this same play over there. Of course, it had evolved a little bit.
Yeah. It was, everybody was not in prison the second time you did it, right?
It was.
I mean, not literally, because of what the chaplain told you. Why did you do a play with everybody in prison? The second time you had changed it?
Oh yeah, it had evolved because it had become a fuller story. Okay. Because I had already performed it once. Yeah. So it was actually the second play I ever wrote, Sins of My Father. The first one was the prison play.
Tell me, after the first one was over, how did you feel?
I felt like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay. Because this is something, you know, that brings glory to the Lord. Yeah. It was an impact where people were coming up. We did like an altar call. Yeah. And it was impactful because men, these are hardened men, criminals, people that are incarcerated are coming up, and they are either giving their lives to the Lord, or they are asking for prayer because they haven't dealt with the issues or the healing that needs to take place because of their absent fathers or what they have towards fathers. And a lot of that in the data will show is a lot of reason a lot of men and women come to prison is because of the unresolved issues of not having a father in the house or a two-parent household. So
you did it twice in prison.
Twice in prison.
Then Caldwell Auditorium.
Yes, sir. So while in prison, after doing it twice, I wrote it out into a screenplay, which a screenplay is actually a movie format. Okay. So it expanded the story a lot bigger.
So where did you learn all this? I mean, I know it's in you, but to go from just a play, now you're talking about a screenplay. Where did you learn all of the dotting I's and crossing T's?
So actually I had an example in there, format. It was an example of how a screenplay is written. Yeah. It was a Batman Dark Knight Rises screenplay. Okay. And from there I seen how the format was, and from there it was, the Holy Spirit guiding me and writing out an outline and knowing where I wanted to go, the end of the story,
Yeah.
but how to get there was the journey was the funnest part of making the characters flawed and the stories of the characters, making you investing you into the story.
Yeah, yeah. And now we're at Caldwell Auditorium wall with Sins of My Father. First of all, I was telling you all how I love the title. And that's personal, right?
Yes, sir. It actually comes from Ezekiel chapter 18 in scripture, where it talks about the sins of my father. But for me personally, and a lot of people, the identity of the sins of our fathers, a lot of times we take on or try to be like them when we say we're not going to be like them.
Yeah.
And that was me. I said I would never be like my father, but I ended up being like him in many ways.
May I say a quote that's in my head? You're going to be like your old no good daddy. It's what we would hear back in the days.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also, people that seen the story, that read the book as well as seen the play will know it has a bigger underlying theme of corporately or for society.
Yeah.
What are the sins of my father that has impacted us as individuals?
Yeah.
So that's in there too. That's what people don't ever see coming when they see the play or they see the book. What overall in this country, in this world, what are the sins that we, overlook?
Absolutely. And then when the stage play is over at Caldwell Auditorium, the reward to this is the testimonies that you received.
Yeah, great testimonies. Two, many in particular, but I just think about the two that me and my wife, two back-to-back that we heard, that it was something happens in the play without spoiling it, and in the book, and it was a tragedy, and when we performed it, we noticed and a lot of people was leaving out crying at a particular point in the play. Quite a few people were leaving out crying. But we got these testimonies that the mothers had never had the opportunity to heal after the tragedy happened in their lives.
Yeah.
And the play was a way of helping them heal, to be able to come back and laugh, and it was a balm to them. Okay. And so that's what in this play as well as the book, we know in this Christian life that, Jesus said we have troubles. He said, he's overcome the world.
Yeah.
And so that's in my stories, that's what I always like to, real life, stuff happened to us as Christians too. But how we're not exempt. So how as believers do we still trust in an all-knowing, all-loving, gracious God in the midst of tragedy that we don't even see coming?
Oh, yeah.
How do we trust in him? We trust in him because, he is God. He loves us. He is good.
Yeah.
If he didn't do nothing else, he already did enough giving his son.
Oh, yeah.
So he's already done enough.
That's what Beverly Crawford said. If he doesn't do anything,
he's done enough.
He's done enough.
And that's what, people took away from this. It was a roller coaster ride of emotions.
Yeah.
They laughed. It was funny. It was entertainment. It was excitement. And the book just gives you a fuller picture of what the stage play could not give, because we only had a limited amount of time.
Yeah. You just answered my next question. My next question to you was going to be, why the book? The stage play was so effective. Why the book?
Why the book? Because I wanted to give people a much broader picture of, some of the things that I couldn't include in the book.
Okay.
And I want to get them prepared for what's coming. Yeah. There is other stories that are tied to this book.
There's a sequel?
There's actually a trilogy.
Okay.
It's a whole universe. Had a lot of time to write a lot of stories
in there,
but they don't do nothing but get better.
Okay.
They don't do nothing but get better. And that's the thing is, in the play, in the book, is we're hoping one day to do a movie of this.
Yeah.
You know, why not in Tyler, Texas?
Absolutely.
Why not?
Yeah.
People always ask what's coming. You know, we serve a big, a grand and an awesome God. You know, God is not limited. You know, so you know if we're willing and we're open ourselves up and we're ready to move to the next phase, like my pastor Derry Hinton said, we can be available. And so to do great and mighty things in His name, to not for ourselves, but to help the community. And not only to help the community, there's a lot of people that need hope. You know, we're out there, we're looking to the government, we're looking to everything else, but we're not looking to God who is in control.
Yeah.
So that's I believe, you know, in prison, I've seen so many, God delivered me from the prison place. Yeah. And so I know I have a purpose, and I have my wife along with me, Alexis, here on this journey. Yeah. And you know, God's not limited.
Yeah. After 25 years in prison, you came out encouraged, ready to inspire others, and God has given you a vision from the stage play now to a book about the sins of my father. How can we get a copy of the book?
So tomorrow at Tyler Public Library from 10 to 1, we are having a book signing. I will be signing books there. That's the Tyler Public Library from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're having a book signing there. Also, you can get the book. It's on Amazon. You know, and it's, you know me, I like to, you know, really like to give these things away, but $14.99 on Amazon. But also, I have a website now. It's called tp3production.com. You can go to the website. You can not only see interviews, you can see clips of the play. We're always adding stuff. And you can see, you know, what we're all about. tp3production.com. You can go there and you can even see little snippets of the play. And we're adding them, you know, every week, every other week. And you can see upcoming plays. You know, we're hoping to go back to Caldwell Auditorium in the March of 2026.
Okay, so the book signing is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
At the library downtown Tyler, and I do not know the address to the library. I'm sure everybody know where it is. But if you want to meet Mr. Tracy Williams, then you go tomorrow. And the book is a very easy read, you all. Very easy to read, and you go into details more about the sins of my father.
Very fast-paced book.
Oh yeah. I want to ask you this question, and you may not know the answer to this. What else is God doing in your life? What is He getting ready to do in your life?
That's a very good question.
You said there may be a sequel to this. Then you talked about it could become a movie. God is preparing you?
Yeah, God is preparing us to do some great and mighty things in His name. And I believe, and I want to thank, you know, my wife, Alexis, for being on this journey and being solely behind me. I want to thank my church, God's Way, my pastor, Derry Hinton, and his wife, Deanna Hinton, for being behind us, because as he preached this Sunday about moving forward, you know, are you being prepared for God to move you forward? Yeah. And I think and I believe in my heart God is moving us forward, because I don't believe there is any limitations in God, that we can do great and mighty things. If you look in the back of the book, I have 3 other books that's listed already, ready to come out. And I believe, you know, that God is finna get ready to do something real big in this city of Tyler. And I just want to be a part of whatever He's doing.
But, you know, even in that moving forward, Mr. Williams, sometimes it could be scary. You know, God gives you this vision, and it's so big. You say, me? But if you move forward, trust in Him, you know, it'll evolve. He'll make it happen.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, okay, so we have about 5 more minutes within the broadcast, and I don't know if Mrs. Williams will pick up the microphone or not, but but we just want to say you took us on the journey of your life. Terry Williams, or TP3, she has one right there. All she got to do is pull it up. When she get it. You know, the journey, you know, Tracy Williams to TP3, and all of these things that God is doing in your life. Meet him, and you will get your copy of Sins of My Father, $14.89. He will autograph it for you, and listen, it is a very easy read, and he is saying there is more to come.
There's more to come. And my wife is a good actor. She played a major role in the play, and she's a very good actor.
So there's another side to her.
Oh, that is.
So in your last words, go ahead and invite people out tomorrow, if you all will, please.
Join us tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Come and meet Tracy and I at Tyler Public Library, and the address is...
Address of Tyler Public
For some
Library.
reason, I want to say 300. Am I right? Am I right? Well, it'll be up in a minute.
It's on the flyer.
Yes, it is. It is 201 South College
I
Avenue,
was wrong.
Tyler, Texas 75702.
Do it again for me.
201 South College Avenue, Tyler, Texas 75702.
And that's at 10 o'clock in the morning.
10 to 1.
Okay.
10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Yeah. So come out and meet Mr. Tracy Williams and Miss Alexis Williams and get your copy of Sins. Is that plural?
That's plural.
Of My Father. And we can relate with that throughout our own family lives, throughout our own journey. So thank you so much, Tracy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexis.
Thank you so much
We
for having
appreciate
us.
you. So that's going to take us out today right here